For those who prefer Linux or are simply curious about Linux and other open source technologies, this is Category 5 Technology TV.
Welcome to episode number 277 of Category 5 Technology TV. It's Tuesday, the 8th of January, 2013. Great to see ya. I'm Robbie Ferguson.
I'm Krista Wells.
Krista, how you been?
Oh, you know, I've been.
Yeah?
Yeah, things
How was
are
dinner
good.
tonight?
Rushed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You
But delicious.
got through? Delicious?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I'm
How are
full.
you doing at home?
And here.
Yeah? How's everybody doing? Nice to see a really jam-packed show tonight. I'm going to tell you all about it in just a moment. Krista's going to tell us what's coming up in the news.
Absolutely.
And lots and lots of exciting stuff coming up tonight. Get your friends, get on Twitter, get on Bookface, and let everybody know that this is the show to watch. So join us tonight.
Sorry, did you call it Bookface?
Oh, sorry.
Can I just
Did I do that?
saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I do that.
Okay, that's cool.
All right.
You know, but so coming up in the newsroom.
All right.
Other than Robbie's a big nerd.
Oh, that's news?
Yeah, well, and other than that, Linux is now much more steamy.
Ooh.
And while we're on the topic of Steam, Valve has unveiled its new modular set-top computer, built to play Steam games in high def on your big screen TV. Ooh.
Nice.
A businessman in China has pleaded guilty to selling pirated U.S. business software worth more than $100 million. Ooh. Elite Dangerous is on a go. Stick around, these stories are coming up later in the show.
Sounds good. Hey, I want to give shouts out to our chat room. We've got Albert R. joining us tonight. Great to see you. Dennis Kelly, Jot, TikTok, Rob Gore as well joining us tonight. Pyrus Rock is joining us on their mobile. How cool is that? We've mentioned the mobile website, which I think is really quite neat, m.cat5.tv. Make sure you check it out. How cool is that? That's you, just like 30 seconds ago.
Wow.
See? We did it.
I look so old now.
So mature.
I know.
30 seconds later.
And wiser.
Not really.
Oh, well.
Not mature or wiser.
One can hope.
m.cat5.tv is our mobile site, and yeah, very cool stuff.
And also, we always love to get your postcards. So
Always.
make sure to send them, snail mail and all. You can send them to category5.tv, and that's at P.O. Box 29009 in Barrie, Ontario, Canada, L4N7W7.
So we have a jam-packed, exciting show for you tonight. Of course, huge news on in the Linux circles this week is the fact that Canonical announced that Ubuntu is going mobile. We're going to see some Ubuntu mobile phones. So tonight we're going to be talking to Richard Collins from Canonical. He's the product manager for Ubuntu Mobile. We're going to be talking to him in just a few moments' time. Also, you and I are going to be looking at how to create a mock-up for a web application. That's going to be awesome.
Cool.
Really looking forward to that. So if you are interested in building a web application, tonight's your chance to build something real easy on the fly. We're going to do it live here on the show. We're going to create an entire mock-up for a web app in like no time flat.
Make it super easy for
you guys.
Can
it be done? Can it be done? We'll see.
Leave them hanging.
Yeah. Well, this is a big week. I mean, it's CES week. So, it is just jam-packed with, we're just bombarded with all the new tech stuff that's coming out. Very excited to have a bunch of our friends down at CES, including Eco Alkalines batteries. They are actually there at South Hall 4 at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Visit them at booth number 35221, and there's our friend Mark. And I'll just let you know, Mark is actually, it looks like this is a still shot, but actually this is live video. He is standing so absolutely still, waiting for you to go shake his hand.
I can't believe how long he can keep his eyes open for
Mark
and not
is
blink.
amazing.
It's exceptional.
We're going to come back to you in just a moment, Mark. Not even a movement.
I'm so impressed. I don't know how he does that.
All you have to do is just walk right up to him. He'll smile at you. He'll shake your hand, and just let him know that you heard of Eco Alkalines here at Category 5 TV, and he will give you free swag. I'm talking batteries, Eco Alkaline style, environmentally friendly, so check it out. Again, that's booth number 35221. 35221 at that's South Hall 4 at the Convention Center. Thanks for joining us tonight, Mark. It's good seeing you.
He's not much of a talker.
Yeah. Well, he's normal.
He's just saving it. He's saving it for you guys.
He's been talking all day.
He doesn't want to lose his voice.
That have been going through. Yeah. But he wants to talk to you. Okay, so he's got free batteries there for you. Go see him. All right. Speaking of Eco Alkalines, we're going to have a quick spot. I know that Richard is also standing by. We're going to be talking to him at Ubuntu Mobile. He's at CES as well this week, so we'll be right back after this.
At Eco Alkalines, we believe you should be able to trust your batteries not just here, but here, here, and here. But with one exception, you should also be able to trust your batteries here. Eco Alkalines are the world's first and only certified carbon-neutral battery manufactured to the highest standards of recycling and quality, without any trace amounts of harmful chemicals like mercury, lead, or cadmium. Eco Alkalines provide performance that rivals leading national alkaline battery brands at a comparable price. Find out more about the Eco Alkalines difference. EcoAlkalines.com.
We're joined tonight by Richard Collins, who's the product manager at Ubuntu Mobile. And a big announcement this week is, of course, that Canonical Ubuntu has made its way, or is making its way, to smartphones. So very excited to have you here, especially it's a very timely time, Richard, and I know that you're very busy. Thank you for coming on the show.
No problem. Thank you.
So this is a very exciting thing. Big long-term fans of Ubuntu, such as myself, we've known for some time that this kind of thing was going to be happening. Not really sure what was going to be happening because everything's kind of been under embargo and pretty secretive as far as what exactly is coming as far as feature sets. So very excited to see now some screenshots and actually know that this product is on its way. Love to hear from you about the development process and where things are at as far as Ubuntu Mobile goes.
Okay, so the announcement that took place this week was, as you said, the new user interface to allow Ubuntu to run on smartphone hardware. So we've taken a very specific approach in terms of how we want to introduce our system to work on smartphones. Many people might remember last year, for example, at MWC, we launched an Ubuntu for Android product, which allowed the Ubuntu desktop to run directly from smartphone hardware, allowing users of particularly powerful smartphones to dock that smartphone, and then they could get access to the full Ubuntu PC experience over a desktop monitor. And that was very encouraging in terms of our development work, mainly because what we're now focusing on is a system which allows not only a very rich user experience to run on conventional smartphone hardware, but also the ability to allow that same desktop experience to run on the more powerful hardware that can also be manufactured.
Wow. Now, does this shift the focus from Ubuntu for Android to this actual Ubuntu mobile product, or is this a separate product altogether?
No, it doesn't shift the work that we did around Ubuntu for Android. This work is absolutely in parallel. So, we have a number of really interesting discussions taking place with handset manufacturers that are very interested in incorporating that particular feature on their higher higher end Android hardware. But this is something that now we're going to market with our own embedded smartphone platform. It's a natural fit for us to include that feature with our work.
Very good. Now, with we're all very familiar with the duopoly between Apple and Google. How does Ubuntu and Canonical fit into that? So that when somebody says to me, "Okay, well, what type of smartphone do I go with?" What is different about the new Ubuntu mobile that's going to make me say, "Let's look at Ubuntu on the smartphone as opposed to Android or Apple's iOS"?
Well, fundamentally, what's unique about what we're doing on the smartphone is its user experience. So it has a very distinctive look and feel. There's a number of particular user experiences that we've engineered to create a very rich user interaction. So, for example, we have a way in which we allow the user interface to work based purely in terms of edge swipe. So whereas with more conventional sort of established smartphone user experience, such as the Android and iPhones, etc., there's a very specific way in which users have to interact with services, and we've taken a different approach in terms of how we enable that on the smartphone platform. And I guess the best way to show that is to demonstrate it, and I've got a device here in front of me. If you want to, should we give that a go?
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
See if it comes across.
And what comes to mind as you're talking about just changes in the interface itself is the whole Ubuntu Linux for human beings, and that push to be an easy to use operating system. I can see that transcending to the mobile platform as well. So very excited to see how this has all come together. So yeah, bring it on, man.
Okay. So is that looking okay?
Yeah, we can see that well.
Okay. So this is the sort of welcome screen, the home screen that we've engineered. So this is a particularly unique sort of introduction, if you like, in terms of it being a reflection of the user's own services that operate on the phone. And this one is representing the number of tweets that have been sent and received throughout the day. And this can be adapted by the user to include any number of things such as emails, SMSs, talk time left, those sorts of things. But it's what we've designed as being a particular unique infographic, if you like, that's very reflective of the way the user uses their services on their smartphone. So one thing that Ubuntu users will be very familiar with is this here, which is the launcher.
So we don't actually have a lock screen here, because I'm looking for...
So the lock screen will effectively...
it's a little different.
There isn't a lock screen, as you say, in terms of the conventional way in which people might understand that. Sure. So the way to actually unlock is effectively to use a swipe to the from the right, and then you've got access to a home screen there. But if we just go back and just access the welcome screen, the other thing you can do is effectively get immediate access to a whole range of applications. So the Ubuntu launcher there, which is a familiar part of the Ubuntu UI, allows you to instantly gain access to a whole range of services.
Awesome. So what's to stop somebody as far as security goes? It looks like I can get into the phone with no password or anything. Is that just because you don't have a password set, or what is there as far as security goes to, if I lose my phone, to lock that down?
So yeah, there will be an element of security in there. So there can be some password protection engineered, but for this particular stage right now, this is the demo, and this is what we're introducing to the industry, and this is what will be available at CES this week as well for people to come along and interact with directly.
Very good. Now, what's the hardware that we're looking at? I mean, you mentioned about being able to run on Android hardware. So, can I take my Android tablet and install this on it, or what's the plan with regards to that? Or do I got to go out and buy new hardware for this?
So the plan is to work directly with handset manufacturers. So they will develop and design and build hardware specifically to run Ubuntu on smartphones. The hardware that I just showed you is a Galaxy Nexus. I mean, we chose that because it's a very open platform. It has all the relevant hardware drivers that also will run Ubuntu. So the approach there has basically been to take an available device that we can quickly work on and able to show the stage we've got to right now in terms of our smartphone development.
Great. How does now Ubuntu has really put a push toward taking the desktop and making it a part of the cloud, and cloud being Ubuntu One or what have you.
Yeah.
Does Ubuntu Mobile factor into this architecture as well?
So yeah, Ubuntu One as our personal cloud service is an embedded feature of the smartphone itself. So that particular service will ship as a standard feature within the smartphone.
Very cool. Now I've got, just as far as my devices go, I've got my Ubuntu computer, which is a desktop computer, Ubuntu installed. I've got I mentioned my Android tablet. I've got my iPod Touch 4th Gen that I use in my pocket for checking email and stuff. I'm constantly going from platform to platform in order to access my various services. So for someone like myself, that's not such a bad thing, but for a novice user, that can get a little tedious, almost difficult.
Sure.
In order to understand how my email on my desktop relates to my email on my smartphone, because everything is so different. With this being Ubuntu, and that I've got Ubuntu on my desktop, and now being able to potentially put Ubuntu on a tablet and a smartphone, how is the interface going to be relative from platform to platform?
So the interface will cover the full family of devices that run Ubuntu. So your examples that you were giving there in terms of needing the same services to be readily available across a different range of devices when running on Ubuntu is straightforward. There's much less complexity potentially for the user in terms of having those same services running on a desktop and then being able to access them and interact with them in exactly the same way on say on a tablet or TV or smartphone. So from an engineering perspective, what we've actually achieved is we've created a single user interface that will run on the full family of devices that support Ubuntu. So that's particularly interesting for application developers, for example,
right.
Because it means if they're developing an application for a desktop, which has equal value in terms of a smartphone, adapting that application to run on both devices is very, very straightforward for the application developer, and that's a very important element of what we're introducing.
That sounds. That sounds great, because I think that's the way things are going. And I mean, you're at the forefront of technology and seeing advancements before we, the consumers, do. But realizing that everything does seem to be going the way of the touch screen. But I'm still trapped. I'm still trapped at my desktop computer. I go to work and I sit down at my desktop computer. It would be ideal if my interface was similar or the same as what's on my phone, what's on my tablet, and then I'm not having to relearn things as I go. So especially when new devices come out and things like that. Speaking of app development, Richard, just on that along that line, this far into the smartphone game, I mean, here we are, how many years into having iPhones and the Android devices and everything, and they're so the market is so saturated with those devices. How are you going to appeal to app developers, and what kind of apps are currently available? And the big question is, this far in, how are we going to see the same level of apps available for Ubuntu Mobile, which are currently available for other platforms? Because that's a big selling feature for a lot of people, because people who don't care about Linux versus Mac OS are going to say, okay, well, what can the phone do?
Yeah.
So what where does that leave the development of apps and from a consumer perspective?
So, well, first off, Ubuntu already has a a very healthy ecosystem of application developers. Obviously, that work has been focused on desktop applications, but nevertheless, as an organization, we're very experienced and have been very successful in working and engaging with application developers on a community basis. And so we will continue to do that and expand our work to include our focus on mobiles.
Yeah.
So we've got we've got a good history there and a good standing in terms of application development. The other area of interest is, there's a lot of attention around web applications and HTML5 and all those sorts, and we're embracing that too. We see that as very much an important ecosystem in its own right that we want to embrace as well. So any application developer that's focused on HTML development and is building really interesting web applications, those applications will run on Ubuntu.
Very good.
And if particular applications that are HTML based want to generate a slightly deeper user experience for their applications, then we can offer a certain level of system integration as well for those web applications, just to give that application a really native feel in terms of user experience.
Now, is that a process that's already laid out and in place, or is this something that is coming? What comes to mind as we're talking about HTML5 and the ability to create web apps is the fact that here at Category 5 Technology TV we have a web app, and that's how we're able to distribute our show on the mobile platform. So we have an actual mobile website, and that loads as an app on iOS and Android very similarly. I mean, with iOS, you can drag it onto your home screen. With Android, you can put it on the dash, and it loads up through the web browser, basically. So
exactly, yeah.
For someone such as ourselves, what kind of process? I mean, I'm taking a developer perspective now instead of a consumer perspective. But what kind of a process is there in order for me to get that integration? Do I have to go through an application process, or?
So the process is established in terms of how you would want to work with this and publish that application, and that's very available right now on developer.ubuntu.com. So there's a lot of information there right now which people can go to and instantly engage with us. You're right in terms of a standard web application. It's the capability of the browser, and our browser will support that web app. Alongside every other sort of enabled browser to support HTML5. What we can also offer is, for example, the developer can engineer the same web app to be treated as almost as a native application of Ubuntu. So, for example, that application with its icon can sit on the launcher that I showed you just now. So what we're doing is reducing the independence associated with the browser itself. So the web application will operate completely independently of the browser.
Right. Okay.
So it's not going to be completely dependent on the browser being open, the browser running. The web app itself will effectively have its own window management resources. It will look like it's an independent application. The users can switch between that and other applications that are open. So what we're offering, particularly in terms of web application development, is the ability to allow developers to make a real native experience around that web application.
Okay, so now I'd like to get back to speaking about what the end users are going to see, but just still on the developer front, is there going to be any kind of HTML SDK or something for us developers to be able to use to create apps that look like they're part of the Ubuntu mobile system? Will there be something in place?
There's a developer preview SDK available right now on ubuntu.com/go mobile. That particular focus right now is about engaging with more native application development. So we have a core set of applications which are running right now. Yeah. We have a very particular design that we want to use to embrace new application developers. So, for example, we've got a QML toolkit, which we're using to allow people to develop applications that provide a really rich user experience, something that an HTML5 web app simply isn't in a position to deliver right now. And so we're taking a dual approach in terms of the range of applications and the types of application developers that we want to work with.
Right.
But yeah, I would encourage people to go to ubuntu.com/go mobile and see the information that we've got laid out there to see just how can they can engage with us today.
That sounds fantastic. I'm excited to think that we'll be able to actually launch an app on the Ubuntu mobile platform. That's very cool. So beyond that, I mean, you're at CES this week. So can people come and take a look at the devices at CES? Or?
Absolutely, yeah. So our main focus at CES this week is the launch of the smartphone platform. So we've got a lot of people there with a lot of devices that people can come along to the stand and come talk to us about it and interact with it and tell us what they think. I mean, it's a great opportunity for people to come along and see it in the flesh.
Very good. So where are we as far as, how soon can we get? I mean, that's going to be the question on every end user's mind. How soon can I get this? Because it's an early teaser, and
it is. Yeah. So we've announced because we want to set in motion the whole time frame, which is targeting availability at the beginning of 2014. That's when we believe we can see these devices come to market. What we're doing right now is we're in deep discussion with industry partners, handset manufacturers, and carriers.
Yep.
All of which we need to make quite a bit of progress between now and the end of this year before we can firm up some proper timeframes as to when the hardware will be available. But yeah, in terms of when people can expect to see shipments, it's going to be about a year from now, which yeah.
So early 2014 kind of time.
I would say that, yeah.
Very good. Back just quickly about apps and things. Is there somewhere that users can find out what apps are going to be available? Do you foresee, for example, I mean, I think about things like Skype being available on multiple platforms. Is that something that you foresee being available on Ubuntu Mobile as well? Not necessarily that one app, but are we going to see the same apps coming across to your platform as well?
From the desktop, do you mean?
From other mobile devices, competitive.
From other mobile devices. So yeah, I mean, there's a number of different areas we can address in terms of enabling a whole range of applications that run on other mobile platforms to run on Ubuntu. So there's a number of different options that we're investigating, as I say, and but yeah, that's absolutely an objective for us, is to make as many applications available as easily to run on Ubuntu. So yeah, that's very much part of our focus.
Well, that's excellent. I'm glad that that's a focus. And so for the end user, I mean, it's important to understand that we are very early as far as from an end user perspective as far as the apps go, but that. This is under development. It sounds like going to be ready in about a year's time for us to actually pick one up and start playing with it. So, very exciting stuff, and hope that CES is a great time for you guys, and certainly an exciting time to be making an announcement like this, and that's going to be all the buzz. So, this has been kind of in the back of Canonical's mind, I believe, for several years to be working toward the mobile platform. Almost, I think back in 2009 when I was talking to Mark Shuttleworth on the show, it really came up that he was visionary as far as where he wanted to take Ubuntu. And here we are. It's 2013, January, and he's actually seeing that dream come to fruition. And so, congratulations to Mark and to Canonical and the entire development team. It's an exciting time, and really exciting to see where this is going to go over the next, once you've launched and everybody is able to actually get one of these. I'm excited to see where it's going to take not just Canonical and Ubuntu, but Linux in general. I mean, this is an exciting time for you've become huge players over the past 5 years and plus, and one of the leading kind of desktop and now you're working on to the mobile platform as well. So very exciting stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, as you say, it's been an ambition of Mark and Canonical for some time to move Ubuntu into touch-based form factors, and the announcement was generated enormous positive response. So I think a lot of what has been a particular interest about what we announced is obviously the user experience, but also about the openness of what we're doing as well. This will be a completely open platform, so
Fantastic.
and we want to work with the community to make sure that they've got early access to as much code as possible. So even though I said that there was a time frame associated with hardware around 2014, that's geared around working with sort of handset manufacturers. But
Right.
before that, there'll be a lot of
I can see
community work
people
as well.
rooting their Android devices, and here we
Sure.
go, right? Is there going to
Exactly.
be source code available in advance that people could start playing around with that kind of stuff?
There will be source code in advance, yeah.
Fantastic. Richard, thank you so much for joining us here on Category 5 Technology TV tonight. CES, where can we find you? Do you know where you're at?
Oh God, I haven't memorized the exact
The booth?
location. If folks could go to the main website, there
Yeah.
is it's there on the front page, and people can come and see us. And please do, because it's a really exciting, uniquely designed smartphone experience, and we'd love to show this to as many people as possible.
I'd love to get my hands on it. All right, Richard, thanks so much for being with us.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Robbie. Cheers.
This is Category 5 TV. Category5.tv is a member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. And the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. And here are the top stories from the Category 5 TV newsroom. It's official. Steam is available for Linux. Steam is a system which brings a ton of great games to Windows, Mac, and now Linux. The initial list of Linux games is impressive, though most are indies or off-brand, but the list is growing fast, and we can expect some big-name games between now and the stable release. The beta of Steam for Linux is available now on their official website, steampowered.com. Excellent. More big news from Valve is their newly unveiled modular PC designed to let users play Steam games on their TV. Codenamed Piston, that's Piston, not Pissed On.
Oh, dear.
Just in case.
Piston. Okay, got it.
One more time, just so we know you have it.
Yeah.
Piston.
Piston.
Okay. The system, which is developed by XI3 and funded by Valve, was just unveiled at the CES trade show in Las Vegas. The set-top box will allow users to access thousands of gaming titles through an integrated system. Jason Sullivan, founder and chief executive of XI3, said this new development stage product will allow users to take full advantage of their large high-definition TV displays for an amazing computer game experience.
Nice.
As a result, this new system could provide access to thousands of gaming titles through an integrated system that exceeds the capabilities of leading game consoles, but can fit in the palm of your hand. Wow. Despite the tiny but powerful device being on display this week at CES, no details of the international hardware have been given yet.
Or the internal
Ooh.
hardware. John wanted to know.
That's what I meant.
Was that a wee joke?
No. No. But if you're laughing, that's good.
All right.
A businessman in China has pleaded guilty to selling pirated U.S. business software worth more than $100 million. Wow. Oh, Yang
That's
Li
crazy.
searched for hack software on internet forums before advertising them for sale on his websites, which offered more than 2,000 pirated titles. The pirated programs were then transferred to customers via Gmail, and Mr. Li and a second suspect collected payment through money transfer services. The pirated software was said to be sold for as little as $20 up to $1,200, which the retail value of the products much higher, ranging from several $100s to more than $1 million a piece.
What?
Ooh, what a bargain!
So you mean to tell me that for $1,200 I can get a $1 million piece of software?
Well,
what software is
you
$1
could,
million?
but you know,
Wow.
it'd be shiny. I hope.
It must be
Software.
like gold platinum edition.
Software,
of
yeah.
Something, yeah.
Comes with little star stickers, maybe.
Star stickers, that'd be nice.
Hey, you never know. We'll fill in the
Solid
blank.
Yeah.
Games on the back.
$1 million.
Wow. The scam came to light after a U.S. manufacturer discovered his company's software being sold on the suspicious website and notified authorities. Mr. Li was arrested by U.S. agents after an 18-month undercover operation. He has pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit criminal copyright violations and wire fraud. His lawyer said he was pretty proud of himself. He did not realize it was such a big crime. Well, good on ya.
Wow. So all that software, that, like, to think that there's buckets and bins of printed software that's just been downloaded off the internet and resold.
Mm-hmm. I'm just most pleased that he's very happy with himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary, though, if you didn't realize that that's
such a big
bad
deal.
thing. Like, there's a moral compass that says that stealing something and then putting it on a disc and making it look like the original and then selling it.
Right. Well, I think it's the whole thing that if it's not tangible, like,
maybe,
like it's not really as big of a deal.
Electronics, so it doesn't even really realize that.
It's kind of like, you know, when you download music and movies and stuff like that. Like, people think it's not a big deal.
Right.
You know. But for you to pocket something from Walmart.
Would you download but would you download a CD?
In general?
It's a $20 CD and then make a website that sells it for $2. Ooh.
Personally, no. But that's kind of in the same category.
It kind of sounds like what he's doing. That's wild. Crazy stuff.
Wowza. And we talked about it back in November on episode 268.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like it's going to happen. The plan to update the classic 80s space trading game Elite has hit its funding target. The game first appeared in 1984, but one of the game's original creators wanted to make a modern PC version. David Braben sought £1.25 million via crowdsourcing site Kickstarter to fund the 21st Century update. A last-minute surge of pledges helped it reach its goal about 48 hours before Friday's funding deadline and ended with about $250,000 more than they needed. I'm smiling because it says that last surge, I'm sure that was Robbie. That was all Robbie going,
oh, yeah.
You need more funds. We're almost there.
Here, take $250,000 that I just happen to have sitting around in donation money.
Exactly.
You know, I'll just give that to the game. No, but I didn't do that. But I'll show you. I don't know if you guys remember this. Here's what it looked like in 1984.
Ooh, techie.
This is what we're all so excited about. What are you laughing at?
Looks like fun.
So that was it. And now you're showing me this new screenshot. This is it now.
See, that looks cool.
That looks funky. That's got to be an artist rendering because the game hasn't been launched yet, but I know that they've been working kind of on the development based on the story, but that's going to be awesome.
Cool. Yeah. That does look like fun. I would play
Space shooters? Why not? You're
in space. You get to shoot things.
Space shooters. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, if you're interested, you can get the full stories at category5.tv/newsroom. The Category 5 TV newsroom is researched by Roy W. Nash with contributions by our community of viewers. If you have a news story that you think is worthy of on-air mention, you can email us at newsroom@category5.tv. For the Category 5.tv newsroom, I'm Krista Wells.
Thank you, Krista Wells. Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Cordery Electrical Contracting, Inc. You can find their information on your screen or visit their website, corderyelectric.com, and they will provide you with any kind of electrical needs within Central Ontario. So if you have a need, if you're doing a building or renovation job, make sure you give them a call. That's Cordery Electric. Also, we'd love to give you a free 1-month trial of Netflix, cat5.tv/Netflix. Make sure you go sign up. What more can you say? There you go. cat5.tv/Netflix. Heather was saying, well, if you go to netflix.com or .ca, you get it for free for a month anyway. So
yes,
why would I go to cat5.tv/Netflix? Because it takes longer to type.
Because you love us.
Because you love us enough to simply click that link instead, which tells Netflix that their advertising dollars are effective here. And so then they want to buy your favorite Linux tech show new cameras and microphones and
shiny things,
new shirts.
Is this the same shirt you were wearing like before?
I've been
previously
wearing this shirt for weeks.
Wow.
Because somebody went to netflix.ca. cat5.tv/Netflix is where you go. There you go. And share that with,
what a sad story.
I know. We need like one of those machines that just plays sad music whenever you just push a button and this nice chimey piano. Eric Kidd on violin.
Good idea.
Good idea. Thanks. Hey, this is Category 5 Technology TV. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hope you're having fun. Nice to have you here. Our website, of course, is www.category5.tv. There it is on your screen. Make sure you check us out. And viewer points this week are racking up because we reintroduced that last week. So you'll see that down the right-hand column, we do now have a top 10 viewers, and that is based on your logins. So make sure that you log in every single day in order to compete in that competition, work your way up the list, and promote your profile. So check that out.
Cool.
Rob Gore, hey, no guilt drip. All right, well, any viewer questions in the chat room? We'll give you a quick second. Otherwise, we're going to jump right into our feature, which is creating a mock-up. Tonight's pretty exciting. I'm going to create a mock-up. Well, we could just jump right into it, can't we, folks?
Why not? Both feet in.
All right.
Mock-ups.
Watching the chat room
Let's
with
go.
one eye. This is my bad eye. I see Rob Gore there.
Lazy eye?
Hey, Jim Bob Media. Hey, Rob Gore. Again. He's like, it's Rob Gore chat room tonight.
Why not?
Yeah. Krista, you're a graphic designer. You build websites.
I do.
All fantastic things. It's just what I do too, you know. Not so much in the graphic design end, but and you know me, I'm a terrible artist.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but if you're going to outright admit it,
well,
let's jump
my
on
daughter
the
is
bandwagon.
7. I mean, when I do a mock-up, it's going to look like it's like that kind of.
Is that what you show your clients?
I don't, because I'm embarrassed
and they
by
go,
my own doodles.
I like it.
I'm terrible. I am terrible. I mean, you've got talent, so when it comes,
we think
graphic design talent,
we think
at least that's a talent. No, seriously though, you can sit down and you can sketch something on a sketch pad, and it
looks better
nice.
than that.
It does definitely look better than what I can do. So, but then there are people like me who have no graphical.
Artistically challenged.
Not artistically challenged. I can't get the visual from my brain to the pen.
Oh.
Artistically, though,
it's all in there.
Oh, yeah, it's in there.
You just can't get it out.
I need one of those machines that taps into my brain and like
just spew it out for you.
And
yeah, there's an idea.
Sounds like Dr. Spatzo, preferably. That would be cool. But I'm no good at actually penciling it. So tonight I want to look at a tool that is going to help me.
Right?
Because
take those ideas.
I can't do the great drawings that you do. It's going to help you because you're too busy. It's a time thing because you're too busy to sit down with a sketch pad and draw everything
and pencils
out.
and who has time for that?
Who has time? And what's the worst thing about doing mock-ups when it comes to web applications or anything at all? What happens when customer says, "Okay, you know what? I don't like that menu. I want the menu down the side."
Yeah, and you've done up the whole thing in like Photoshop or something, and you have to like
scratch,
go through all your layers and find it, or that's kind of a pain.
How did it land on my shoulder? That was awesome. So let's make it simple for ourselves. Make it fast. Make it easy. Make it look good. Make it so that I can pull together a mock-up in just a couple seconds flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out Balsamiq Mockups Desktop. You can check it out. I've created a quick link for you. It is cat5.tv/mockups. So let's head there right now. cat5.tv/mockups. Here we go. There we are. Now, here's something that's really cool. I want to show you this, Krista. This will blow your mind because you can download it, of course. Okay? Or, if you want to just get your feet wet, try a web demo, and the web demo allows you to create your mockups. It will actually load in a browser window, and it will allow you to create your mockups and even export them.
What?
Right through your web browser. Okay?
That's just cool.
But tonight, we're going to use that as a fail-safe, so that if all else fails, we can fall back on the website.
Online.
Right? Because you can always do that. Here's the great thing, too, about mockups. Desktop or just mockups in general from Balsamiq, is that you can run it on your computer, Linux, Mac, or Windows. But if you don't have access to that computer, in my instance, I've got it on my computer in the office. I'm working away creating mockups, but I don't have it up in where we show websites and things to our clients. So instead, I'll just bring up the web demo up in that room. And then they can
still do it.
Yeah, and I can still work on those mock-ups. So let's actually get this. I'll show you real quick what it is. I mean, you saw what's here, but basically it allows the easy moving and manipulation of any of these elements within your mock-ups, right? Now, this is just a quick demo that they've already put in. Really, really easy to do things like, pop in a browser window. There it is, right? So I can create a browser window and put it all together. So basically an ability to create sketch-like mockups, and I'm going to explain why that is, but sketch-like mockups as if I did it on paper very, very quickly and easily, and easy to edit it down the road. So let's install it on my Linux machine. I want to make this work. So I'm going to go download mockups for desktop. You'll see that by default it is giving me the Linux 32-bit. It will probably, try to detect what you're running. But look, if you scroll down, there are more options. So I'm not actually going to use their quick link because I want the 64-bit version because I'm on a 64-bit Linux computer. The way to tell that on Linux is to go into your terminal and type in the following command, uname-a. Hit enter, and you'll see that your kernel ends in what type of architecture it is. In my case, it's x86_64, the 64-bit, or the 64 represents 64-bit. If it was 32-bit, it would say i386. Okay, so that's how you determine real quick on your Linux machine whether you're 32 or 64-bit. So from there, I know that I want the 64-bit Debian package. Notice that it's already compiled as a deb. Or if I don't have Debian, if I'm running Red Hat or something similar, then I can just grab the Air cross-platform file and use it there, or I can again use the web demo. I'm going to use the Debian package. I'm going to actually save it to my computer. Now, Chromium here is warning me that it could be a malicious program because it's an installable. So I'm going to say keep, and now it's there. So let's open the folder, double-click on it, and see what happens. Here I am with Ubuntu Software Center. And notice this, dependency is not satisfiable Adobe Air. This is what I want to show you. Adobe Air was actually discontinued for Linux, but still functions in version 2.5, 2.6. So what I've done is I've created a real quick hot link for you to be able to install mockups using Adobe Air. We're going to go to simply cat5.tv/air and hit enter. This is only a necessary step if you're on Linux, because that's going to give you the Adobe Air installer binary file. Okay, so that's grabbing that to my desktop or to my computer right now. It's saving it into my downloads. There it is. I'm going to right click on it, go properties, permissions, and allow executing as a program. Now we'll see if it runs. If I just double click on it now, it's probably going to no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into terminal. I'm whizzing through, but if you follow along, you're going to see what's going on here, and I'm going to put all this information in the show notes for episode number 277. I'm going to go into my downloads folder. There it is. Now you can see that the file is there. So I'm going to go you know what? I'm going to have to go sudo /a tab. Okay? So it's going to install as super user. Enter my super user password. That's going to load up the GUI if all is good. We can ignore that error message just with regards to the to GTK. I have just read that very, very quickly. Why are you laughing? Why are you snickering? I don't
Well,
understand.
you should always read through it.
Yes.
You never know.
Yeah.
But I mean, because Robbie's so skilled and everything.
Speed
just
reading.
Done
I'm
like that.
I'm like a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adobe Air is a platform that unfortunately, it has been discontinued for Linux, but it is, as you see, still installable, still functional, and still stable. So we're good to go. So now that I've installed Adobe Air, I can double click on that Mockups for Desktop Debian package again, and you'll notice that Ubuntu Software Center is going to tell me something a little bit different here. It tells me nothing because that error is now gone. All the dependencies are met. I'm good to go. I'm going to click on install. Enter my super user password. Now it's asking me if I want to update Adobe Air. You can do that. I would recommend it. It's going to give you 2.6, but just for the sake of the show, because we're live on the air, we're going to just ignore that update. But like I say, I do recommend that you do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, because that's going to give you 2.6.0.0, and that's going to get you up to the latest version of Adobe Air for Linux before they cut it off. So you'll have all the fixes. Here it goes. And it looks like we're done. Done and done. Close out of Ubuntu Software Center. Close out all the stuff if you want. Applications, accessories, Balsamiq mockups. You see that there now? Applications, accessories, Balsamiq
Oh,
mockup.
I just look for the smiley face.
So happy. What do you want to do? Of course, I read it. There we go. Loading up. What do you notice? Looks just like that web interface that we were looking at.
Wow, just
Cool.
like it.
Okay, so step one to creating our mockup. I mean, this has got to be really, really easy, right? Because we
Right.
said I'd be able to create a mockup. So a customer comes in and they say, okay, I've got this idea. I want to create a new mapping system. You're going to use the Google Maps API version 3.0, but it's going to be my own system. We're going to put pins on the map, and we're going to allow people to add their own garage sales to this map. Okay, so
Okay.
here's the concept that has been brought to us. So we can sit down and we can create this, the whole system, and we can go through all the hoops of, that takes hours upon hours to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can sit down with Balsamiq
And do
Mockups
this.
desktop and just whip this out for our customer. So let's do this. First of all, a browser window, we just drag and drop it, and we call it My Garage Sale System, HTTP myfakegaragesales.com, and then just click out anywhere. And you notice it has created
That's
a
pretty
browser
neat.
window that says that. Now, I said I'd tell you why this looks like a draft. And the concept that Balsamiq has taken with Mockups Desktop is to say, if we make it look too much like a polished system, then people are going to look at it and say, no, you know what, I don't like the color.
Exactly.
Or I
Get
don't
too
like that
nitpicky.
button with that shape, right? Because what we're actually doing is we're creating something that we don't want them to see the finished product. We want them to see the concept. This is a prototype.
Get the gist
and
of it.
And end users typically don't grasp that because
Exactly. They think what you see is what you're going to end up
that's
getting.
what it's going to end up looking
Yeah.
like on the site. So by going with this kind of look where it's sketched and pencil drawn, it really gives the customer or whoever you're working with, it gives them the impression that this is something that is a draft. It's something that we're going to build upon,
Yeah.
and this is just layouts and ideas being put to paper. So that's what we're actually doing here, and that's why it has that look where it's very sketched. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to say, okay, well, first and foremost, and now you've probably got a bigger monitor than me, so I have to do a little bit more scrolling than I would like. You'll notice that as I click on this item, I can resize it, and it tells me how big it is. So I can design this specifically for, let's say I want to make it for 1024 by 768 or something, right? So I can actually do that, and I can click over here, and I can change the height to accommodate that screen size. So now that window is in fact that size. Okay, so we're going to create a menu system. So we're going to use up at the top here things like buttons. Right? There's a menu here, button bar. And let's get started with our website. So we can go home, about us, listings, add a listing. Let's just say, for example, okay? So we're going to put that into our browser window. And then we're going to say we're going to create a logo. We need to, again, this is just a mock-up. So let's grab something of an icon, for example. So notice what I've done is I've clicked on media up at the top, and I'm going to grab an icon here and drag it onto my, see how easy that is? Just drag and drop. I'm going to call this Garage Sale System.
It's neat how easy it is just to rename things like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Not only that, but now that I've clicked on that element, I get this. And this allows me to change that element to whatever I want. So I can actually click on this down arrow, and I can make this look like any of these prefabricated little sketches.
Oh,
right?
smiley face, for
You want it to
sure.
be a smiley face for the garage sales?
For sure.
I would think like something like that would be more appropriate, Krista.
No.
You want it to be a
You want
smiley
people
face?
to be happy.
Okay. Notice how I rescaled that? Okay. Definitely a smiley face. Okay.
Much better.
So over here again, I can scale that. See that? Okay. So we're pretending that that's my logo. Now we can change the font weight. We've made it bold there, and various little things like that. Okay. So now click out of that element, and now I can move around. Grab things, move them around. So now we said that this is going to have a map on it. So we're going to drag the map down, and we're going to say, okay, this is our street map, which is going to have some pins, which are going to show us where the garage sales are. So for the sake of our mock-up, we're going to go into media here. We're going to grab an icon. We're going to drop it there. We're going to go down, and we're going to grab a pin or something along those lines. So now we've got a pin. I can put it there just for the sake of my mock-up. Okay, so then we're going to have, just go through the prompts and see what it is that you'd like to include on your mock-up. But essentially, you're going to need things like forms where you're going to have various kinds of input for the user who's going to be adding a listing. But we're actually on the home page here. We're pretending, or let's click on this and we'll say, no, we're actually on the listings page. Okay, so I've just changed what's highlighted. See how I did that? So now I'm going to throw in some text. So we're going to go up to, when in doubt, you can always go all, but under comment, oh, there's text over on the right-hand side here that kind of streamlines it even further. I can grab some text and I can go. Okay, garage sale. Make that bold. This is my H1 tag. And let's grab a paragraph of text. Paste that in, and we're going to say, to my way, Barrie, Ontario. There you go. Phone 705-775-7 blah. There you go. So notice that the tabs actually position things quite well. Nice and easy. Okay, so there's my listing. So now I'm going to save that. We'll first create a folder and we'll call this Garage Sale System. And I'm going to save this as listings within that folder. Okay, so now if I click on the menu and go Show Link Inspector, what I can actually do is I can create not just a mock-up now, but I can actually create this as a prototype. So when I sit down with my client, I can show them what clicking on listings will do.
Neat.
Okay, so I can actually create a link here. So I've clicked on that, and now I'm going to change listings to actually point to listings, because remember, I saved a file called listings.bmml. Okay, so now anything that I put into the garage sale system will become options that I can link to. So now I'm going to save that again, and I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to create one called Add a Listing. Okay, so now reopen listings, and I'm going to click on my menu again, and I'm going to go to Add a Listing here, and I'm going to tell it to go to the file Add a Listing. If someone clicks on that, save that. Now back at my Add a Listing file, see I'm using the tabs at the bottom here. I'm going to change things a little bit, and let's make this a form. So for the sake of my mock-up, we can grab form elements up here at the top. So for my address, for example, I'm going to use like a text input. Put that right there. Notice how it lines everything up for us too.
I was going to say, I noticed when you clicked on the map earlier how it had those key lines on there.
Everything is
It's a really neat feature.
It gives us centering on words. See that blue line tells me that it's exactly centered to garage sale. I'll zoom in just a little bit for those of you with lower resolution. So see those lines that it creates? Shows me how it's lined up to my elements. Okay, so this is going to be an input field right there. So we're now mocking up the add a listing. So now my phone number. There we go. So now I've got a phone number field as well. If I decide, you know what, let's make this actually a text area, I can put in a bigger box and see how quickly and easily I can move things around and change the way that my interface works. So drag that. There we go. So now I've got this. Click on my menu and change Add a Listing to go to Add a Listing, and also make it so that the active selection is Add a Listing, because that's the file that I'm working on. See that? So now I'm going to save that. Now I have two files. I'm going to click on this full screen presentation mode over on the right hand side, and now I'm actually presenting this to my customer, and I can say, okay, well, here we are, and what we're actually doing here is we're adding a listing to your mocked up system. So what we can do now, once we've entered that information here, is we can click on listings, and it's going to actually show that information.
Cool.
So really quickly we can throw together something that is a presentation for our customers, and literally can do that just
Right.
the snap of a finger practically. So once you've got the layout in place, and you can start working on it and send it over to the customer. So now, do we have to have Balsamiq Mockups desktop in order to present this? Well, that's the problem, right? Because how do you now send BMML files to your customers? So the next step would be to say, okay, well, if we want to send this as a presentation, let's pretend we're finished and this is mockup number 1. We're going to go File, and we're going to go Export All Mockups to PDF. And we're going to go, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to go Optimize for Viewing, Show Linking Hints, and start my export. There it goes. Save it into the same folder for me, and I'm going to call this mockup1.pdf for that particular customer. Okay, so now I'm going to close out of all of this, and on my desktop in that folder I now have a PDF file. There it is, mockup1.pdf, and as I bring this up, because everyone has an Adobe Reader or something similar, now here I am on Linux, I'm using Document Viewer, right? So now here I've got the mockup, and if I click, it actually allows me to navigate that mockup. I know you can't see my mouse cursor. I'm hovering over listings right now. I click on it. There's my listings. Hovering over add a listing. There it goes. It's actually navigating the pages of that PDF file. So
Neat.
It gives us a chance to create something, send it to the customer really quickly. Now, we've had little time to do that tonight, but you can see how quickly and easily you can mock something up. And then when you go into development, it's so much easier when you've got that drawing to be able to actually
something exact to go by,
program.
or really close anyways. Neat.
There you have it. You can download that again from cat5.tv/mockups. Give it a try. There's a free trial. The single user license is $79. Definitely worth it, especially if you're doing this for business. It's going to save you so much time. It's going to make things so much easier for you. I can attest to that, and it's a good chance for you to be able to impress your customers as well. Everybody who I've sent a mockup to said, "Oh, that looks great."
Good. That's failed proof.
Exactly. So that's all the time that we have for tonight. I'm sorry I didn't let you talk much.
No viewer questions tonight either.
Well,
sorry, folks.
We've been trying to
I'll be
watch the
next
chat room,
week.
but I've been
Next
blah blah, and it was really awesome to have Richard on the show as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that was unexpected because that announcement happened last Tuesday, like just a week ago today. So we were really, oh, look at that. We got to talk about that, and we're already going to be talking about mockups. So if you didn't get a chance to get your question in, make sure you email. Okay. Email the co-host desk.
We'll get you next week.
Live at category5.tv. You have fun anyway?
Oh, I had loads of fun.
Always.
Are you kidding?
All right. We learned lots tonight. Very exciting stuff. Next week, of course, we're going to be continuing at CES, and we're going to have our friends from LEI are actually going to be talking to us here on the show. So make sure you don't miss it. And lots of exciting stuff going on at the show. Check out our website, category5.tv. Make sure you're registered if you're not already registered. That's how you're going to be able to accumulate your viewer points, and then that's going to be able to get you some rewards down the road. So thanks for joining us tonight.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks, Krista.
We'll see y'all.
Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Category 5 TV broadcasts live from Barrie, Ontario, Canada every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching this on demand or through cable TV, check out the local show times in your area at category5.tv and find out when you can watch live and interact in the community chat room. Category 5 is a production of Prodigy Digital Solutions and is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 2.5 Canada. We'll see you next time.